I'd like to call to order the Special Utility Special District Board meeting, Wednesday, September 11, 2019, 6 p.m. Madam Roll Call.
Board Chair Kashama Miller Anderson.
Present.
Board Pro Tem Julia Botel.
Here.
Board Member Trodrick McCoy.
Here.
Board Member Shirley Lanier. Here. Board Member Douglas Lawson.
Here.
Ex officio Board Member Mayor Ronnie Felder. City Manager Jonathan Evans.
Present.
Interim Executive Director Leighton Walker.
Present.
District Deputy Clerk Jacqueline Burgess is present. District Attorney Don Nguyen.
Here.
You have a quorum.
All right, we'll have a moment of silence, and if we could please keep in mind of the victims of the 9/11. Moment of silence, and also the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Councilwoman Lanier. Do we have any additions, deletions, or substitutions? Go ahead.
No, Madam Chair.
All right, disclosures by the Board of Directors. Have a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Madam Clerk?
Board Member Lanier.
Yes.
Board Member McCoy.
Yes.
Board Member Lawson.
Yes.
Pro Tem Botel.
Yes.
Chair Miller Anderson.
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
Okay, we don't have any items for consent. No awards and presentations, no public hearings. Regular agenda item number 1.
Resolution number 32-19 UD, a resolution of the Utility Board of Directors of the City of Riviera Beach Utility Special District, Palm Beach County, Florida, delegating authority to supervise the position of District Utility Director to the City Manager in accordance with the service agreement between the City of Riviera Beach and Utility Special District and providing for an effective date.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Mr. Manager?
Madam Chair and members of the City Council, this item before you is to delegate the authority and responsibilities of managing the utility district director to the city manager. This is procedural. This particular resolution needs to be adopted in order for executive staff to be able to manage the utility function. We attempted to proceed forward with this in the past, and so with the impending departure of our acting or interim utility district director, staff is recommending that the board delegate the authorities and responsibilities to the city manager for the purposes of managing the utility district director position. Staff stands prepared to answer any questions the board may have.
Do we have any public comment cards?
No public comment.
Questions from the board?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
Mr. Manager, is this going to be a permanent delegation?
This would be a permanent delegation unless the board decides to revisit the resolution in subsequent discussions. So it is something that the board can effectively rescind at any time by virtue of adopting another resolution.
Any other questions? All right, Madam Clerk?
Board Member McCoy.
No.
Board Member Lanier. Yes. Board Member Lawson.
Yes.
Pro Tem Botel.
Yes.
Chair Miller Anderson.
Yes.
That motion passed with Board Member McCoy dissenting.
Item number 2.
Resolution number 33-19 UD, a resolution of the Board of Directors of the City of Riviera Beach Utility Special District, Palm Beach County, Florida, authorizing the chairperson and district clerk to execute the interlocal agreement between Palm Beach County and the City of Riviera Beach Utility Special District regarding open cuts on the county thoroughfare roads and providing an effective date.
So moved.
We have a second? Who's
Second.
second? Okay. Mr. Manager?
Madam Chair, if I can have the interim executive director, Mr. Leighton Walker, present this item.
Good evening, Madam Chair, board
Good
members,
evening.
manager. This item was approved by the board, or a similar item was brought before the board in February of 2018 and approved by the board. However, upon execution of the signature by the chair, it was sent to Palm Beach County for their execution, for their signing, for it to be fully executed. And in the process, Palm Beach County's legal team notified us that there was a revision to the language they had an updated document that was released. And so they decided to send us back the revisions, or they were in the process of updating their document. So they made the revisions. It took a couple of months, and they sent it back to us and asked that we, again, execute the document and send back to them.
Any public comment cards?
No public comment cards.
All right. Do we have any questions or comments from the board?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
question for Mr. Walker. So, looking at the interlocal agreement, the only changes are those that are underlined?
Yes, I'll refer to the attorney on that one. I'll ask Ms. Nguyen to answer that.
I don't have the strike-through underlined version, but I did at some point in time when I reviewed it. And yes, those are the only changes. There was a change to the policy, and the county revamped this agreement and sent it back out to all municipalities that they deal with as it relates to this to execute the same.
Follow-up.
Go ahead.
So, the changes to the policy, does that significantly change the city's position or
Not at
any
all,
way the city performs?
not at all.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Madam Clerk?
Board Member Lawson,
Yes.
Board Member McCoy,
Yes.
Board Member Lanier. Pro Tem Botel,
Yes.
Chair Millie Anderson.
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
That's the end of our regular agenda. No discussion and deliberation. Discussion by Executive Director of Utility Special District or the City Manager.
I'd just like to thank the board and the city manager and, in fact, everybody here at the city for the opportunity. It has been a pleasure to serve the citizens of the city of Revere Beach for the past 5 years. And it's an honor. I really appreciate the opportunity to grow and to give the best of my service here.
I thought you were getting ready to say you were leaving. It was kind of like, thank you for being here. I've been here for 5 years, so thank you
You're welcome.
for staying. Any comments from Mr. Evans?
Yes, Madam Chair and members of the board, I did have the opportunity to work with Mr. Walker on 2 occasions, and he's been someone that is very well respected amongst his peers and very well respected amongst the employees. And so we are certainly grateful for the opportunity that he has allowed for folks in the utility district to grow and his leadership during his tenure here. And so we are sad to see him go, but certainly wish him and his family nothing but the absolute best. And I did try to get him to stay. I even went out to a utility site for a line break, and he was out there, and I pulled him aside while there was waste that was spewing out of the line, telling him that we can still work together to move some things forward. And I think that he's going to serve I know that he's going to serve the city of West Palm well, and hate to see him go, but I know that he's got a lot of friends here, and we wish him nothing but the best. He's the quintessential professional, and we're fortunate to have had him for the years that we have.
Thank you, sir.
Well, I missed all of that. It all went over my head, so I'm awake now. Hate to see you go, Mr. Layton.
Thank you.
All right. Do we have any comments from the board? Mr. Lawson?
Just our prayers today for all the families that were lost from 9/11 and continue to be remembered as we go forward.
Ms. Lanier? Mr. McCoy?
Yes, so I just noticed, and that actually what gave me a little pause when we were deliberating on number 2, but it appears that we have a meeting that's scheduled for Monday as well for utility district.
Yes.
So I would respectfully ask if that I could be provided the access in Novus so that I can know what upcoming meetings before they're published, because when this meeting was sent out on Friday, I presumed that this would have been the meeting for the entire month. I didn't realize that we would be having another meeting. And now that I'm looking at the agenda, I'm even more surprised that we have to deal with budget items. And what I'm seeing here speaks to two different readings. From a utility district standpoint, why would we have two readings on a budget?
The utility district, as it's established as a separate entity, has to go through the same process that the city has to do for the purposes of adopting its budget.
Okay, well, but we've already been given a presentation on the capital projects relative to the utility district. I didn't realize that this was gonna be a separate item.
And the intent behind that is to allow for expediency as it relates to those meetings, because we wanted to bring both the utility district and the city operations together for the purposes of informing the board, so we didn't have to do it in multiple sessions. So the meetings that are scheduled are procedural in nature, but you have already seen all the items that that are applicable to the budget for the utility district.
Okay, can I have the permissions on Novus so that I can see exactly what meetings are coming up? Because, you know, ahead of us getting the public notification that goes out to the same time, unless there's a specific conversation, I don't know if there's a meeting anymore. I don't know exactly what items are on the agenda. And, you know, it seems that I would be presented those items at the same time that they're already publicized in the event that I had some questions prior to us even arriving. So that's something that we can be provided, Mr. Manager? At least
Yeah, we can provide the council with the ability to look in and see what the meetings are and what the scheduled meetings are, and then we'll work with the clerk's office to list out what the meetings are, because ideally I'd like to see a situation where we're providing you all your meetings within, you know, a 2-month notice, so you know exactly what's going on. So that's what we're moving towards, and so there's no types of situation where meetings pop up that the council or the board may not be aware of.
Now, the meeting though on Monday is the normal utility district meeting date.
right.
And
So-
then today was just these two.
That is correct.
And initially, we were supposed to be having the CRA meeting, but you wanted to do these two separate, do this one separate from Monday's meeting?
That is correct, because with Mr. Walker's departure, I needed the ability to appoint someone to assist in running the day-to-day operations at the utility district, and Mr. Walker's last day is tomorrow. So the sense of urgency with respect to when this meeting was scheduled was predicated on that date that was provided to us. In the perfect world, we wanted to have this meeting scheduled at your meeting that we had Monday, but for whatever reason, there was some situations that didn't lend itself to that, so hence the reason why we're here today.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? I'm sorry, that's it for you, Mr. McCoy?
Well, Madam Chair, your response, I just want to clarify, so there's no way of us knowing when we got that, I guess, special utility special district meeting notice on Friday that there was going to be another meeting on the 16th.
Well,
So presumably, I recognize now after having the discussion with Mr. Evans today, the sense of urgency, but there is no way for me to know that we're going to have a special meeting on Wednesday and then come back and have a regular meeting on Monday.
I didn't know that either, Mr. McCoy. I'm getting that right along with you at the moment.
Well-
And what normally happens is I get the agenda before it's posted. But the agenda wasn't sent to me until this afternoon around 4, and I just saw it just now.
Right,
But it was already posted on Novus.
right, and that's why I'm asking for those permission on
And,
notice.
and that's what he said that he can
So that we
do.
can, you know, because I did think that we didn't have a CRA meeting. Let me go ahead and plan something for Wednesday and then.
See, I didn't know that part. And then I found that out after.
So
So,
I
yeah,
just
so we
wanna-
all need to be on the
yeah,
same page,
yeah.
for sure. All right, anything else, Mr. McCoy?
That's it.
Okay. Dr. Botel.
Just quickly to add my condolences to those who lost loved ones 18 years ago. It's hard to believe it was so many years ago. And thanks to Mr. Walker for his good service. It's been a pleasure knowing you and working with you. Thank you.
Welcome, thank you.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
So when is Mr. Walker's official last day? Is
See you
it,
tomorrow.
okay, so I have a question. I brought this up to you, Mr. Evans. Who is the person that was or is responsible for the utility side of the current road construction going on in Monroe Heights? Is there a four-person or a project manager from the utility district side that managed those projects?
Mr. Walker, if you want to provide that perspective.
For which project, Councilman?
The underground utilities for Monroe Heights.
So you want to know who the contractor is or who the
The-
project manager is?
The city representative from the utility district that worked on the location of the infrastructure assets that are in the ground for the Monroe Heights project.
So we had Chenmore for the earlier project, the larger portion of Monroe Heights that was done. Chenmore was representing us as our field representative, but I know there are CBDG projects that are being done in sections of that area. And we have one of our inspection services firms, Radis. They are
I'm sorry, what was that?
Radis. They are a local engineering firm here. We have them as an inspection services firm. They're performing the field inspection and field coordination activities for the CBDG projects.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
That's it?
Yes.
All right, and it's been great knowing you, Mr. Walker, and I wish you much success in your future. Do we have any public comment cards?
No public comment.
All right, unless we have no other business, we stand adjourned.